There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. You know, we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. I think about this issue through the lens of my baby nieces, who are 1.5 and 3 years old. And when I look at those babies and I think about what the world will be like in 20 years if we don't act, I'm really afraid. And as it relates to those Republicans in Congress, where I've now been for 2.5 years, every one of those members needs to look at the babies, the grandbabies in their life, and then look in the mirror and ask themselves, why have they failed to act?
And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
My grandmother's wisdom, many years ago as a child, still hold true today when she told me, always tell the truth. It's a lot easier to remember. This interview last night with Dana Bash from CNN was supposed to help Kamala Harris. I still can't believe this is actually making such huge splashes and major headlines in the media. A presidential nominee sat down for an interview. Oh my goodness. Alert the press. She's actually sitting down, and she doesn't even do it alone. She brings her frickin' Tampon Tim VP, Stolen Valor boy, with her. My fellow Americans in this nation, I'm not going to show you this entire interview. I'm going to show you just a couple of clips that I think are the most demonstrative of the damning nature of who she is as a candidate, who she's always been in her years and years of failed service, who Tim Walz really truly is. Wait till you see this clip of Tim Walz answering the question about, can Americans trust you? You've lied so many times. Wait till you hear his answer. This interview was less than 18 minutes long, and it wasn't live. Even though CNN put the live moniker down there on the bottom right, this was not a live interview. This was completely 100% pre-recorded, premeditated, and Kamala Harris was caught many, many times reading actual notes. She can't even answer simple softball, ice cream, puppy dog questions. She had to look down at her notes. I mean, this is the most unqualified human being to hold any office. She shouldn't be the president of the student council at the local blueberry patch. There, you can see it right there as well. The live moniker. There was nothing live about this. I mean, they're so full of it. They lie so incessantly that they literally aren't even putting in the energy to cover it up anymore, my fellow Americans. This is why the woke corporate fake media, Trump was right about everything. You cannot trust a single thing they say or broadcast. Before I show you a couple of clips really quickly, again, I'm not going to put you through the torture of the whole thing. Somebody tell me the ambiance here that they chose. What was the strategy? Is it just me, or does it look like that they're filming this in like the kitchen lounge or lunch lounge of CNN studios? How does this, why? It looks so like eerily dark in the background, and it doesn't make any sense. Is this, and why is she sitting like in a stool that's half the size? I mean, she looks like a leprechaun right there. Look how much shorter. Look at the headline. I mean, it looks like she's sitting in a kindergarten toddler's stool. What's going on here? Is this presidential? Does this look like it's going to inspire confidence in the American public? Like, what is going on here? What is the thought process here? Let me know in the comments what you think. They're not open with something more vapid, empty, lackluster than this. Watch this.
If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, We have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans.
Okay, so this is the very first question of the interview. On your first day in office, what are you going to do? She says, we're going to strengthen the middle class. And then she's about to blame Trump. You guys have held and had power and control over the United States government 12 of the last 16 years. And your very first question in this supposed to be momentous occasion of you proving to the American public that you are fit for office. I mean, I think they're going to bring back Biden, honestly. Biden is 100 times better. And Biden is absolutely out to lunch. We know that. Biden is completely a vegetable. But even a vegetable is better than this. Not only does she blame Trump, she doesn't give one specificity, one example, evidence, policy, no substance. Is there any plan? Can you give us something that we can actually cling to? Nothing. Nada. Hasta la pasta. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Yeah.
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy.
What's
I've
your
already laid
plan?
out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's
She's a
life to help them
lion-ass dog.
buy
She
a
is a
car seat,
major
to help them
LED.
buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
Fellow Americans, one of the things, of somebody who has taught writing, is a writer, has written books before, one of the things that comes to mind is what Ernest Hemingway said, our great American author. He said one of the number one tools, one of the number one superpowers that an author, writer must have is you must have an internal bullshit detecting device that cannot be circumvented. I'm telling you right now, you listen to her body language, you listen to the way that she talks, you look at her mannerisms, you look at, and you can feel her energy. This is the capital LAD lion-ass dog. She is so full of it. There is not a single utterance of truth that spills out of this vermin. Not one iota. Let me know what you think. That was the first question. That was the very first question. Let me know what you think of that answer. Here is Dana Bash asking Tim Walz about the fact that he's lied pretty much about everything. He's lied about his background. He's lied about his military background. He's lied about IVF, him and his wife, having a child through IVF. He's literally lied about everything. Watch this.
Governor Walz, the country is just starting to get to know you. I want to ask you a question about how you've described your
fake
service in
smile
the National Guard.
from Kamala.
You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And the idea that you said that you were in war, did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar is not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service in any way. I never have, and I never will.
Wait a minute. Did he just call Americans stupid and liars? He just said, I speak like they speak. So he gave another non-answer. And then when Dana Bash actually, followed up and pressured him to answer, he said, oh, yeah, my grammar was wrong. Your grammar was off? Last I checked, as a professor, as somebody who's taught communications, who's taught English composition, last I checked, grammar is not synonymous or has zero connection to lying and telling the truth. By the way, he has demeaned J.D. Vance. He's demeaned J.D. Vance, who is an actual real Marine who actually served in Afghanistan, who actually has real substantive valor. He did demean. So there's not an ounce of truth that comes out of these guys. It's like you either just have to sop up and swallow the lies, or you actually have to get over your TDS. You have to get over your Trump derangement syndrome, and you have to actually look at this critically and go, my God, these guys are absolute swamp vermin. Here's the big one, and this is the one that I think that Trump should literally hammer on her in the very first debate, and I think every American deserves an answer. Dana Bash actually asks if Kamala Harris has any regrets about claiming that Joe Biden was, cognitively fit. Listen to her answer here. Watch this.
Vice President Harris, you were a very staunch defender of President Biden's capacity to serve another 4 years. Right after the debate, you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
No, not at all. Not at all. I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now, and I'll tell you, it's one of the greatest honors of my career, truly. He cares so deeply about the American people. He is so smart and loyal to the American people.
I've known people like this. Let me know if you have as well. I've known people like this. They're so full of boop. Their entire lives, nothing they've done is spout boop. They like manure comes out of every pore. They can't even decipher. They actually believe themselves. They've reached such a magnitude of BS that they actually think, or they've somehow converted it in their insane imagination, that they can't even tell what's true anymore. They literally think they're telling the truth. They're so full of it. They've somehow converted all of this heaping mess. They're so drowning in it that they just can't tell if it's manure anymore. That's what we have here with Comrade Kamala. That's what we have here with copycat Kamala. That's what we have here with capital PH phony Kamala.
And I have spent hours upon hours with him, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment and disposition that I think the American people rightly deserve in their president.
So you've been around this person for 3.5, almost 4 years. The cognitive decline took place years ago. There was even questions about it back in 2020 when he was running for president. And he steps down due to the fact that everybody, including Obama, including Clinton, including the elites, including Soros, they all said, dude, you're done. You can't. I mean, you're just too old. It's over. He even admitted that. I'm going to pass the torch to a younger generation. And now, instead of saying, you know what, I probably should have said something. I apologize. I kind of had a feeling. So I did a video about this. So 2 things, and they're both major capital losses. Number 1, either you're a huge liar, which you are, or 2, you've just proven to the American public that you have the perceptions, you have the leadership capability of a walnut, literally. Because if you can't tell what everybody else in the entire world can tell, that Biden was so far gone, even before the Robert Hur investigation, and you're going to actually publicly tell millions of people that, no, you're going to still continue the lie. He's fit. The American people deserved him. And you have zero regrets at all. You absolute, reprehensible, evil, vile witch. I mean, I don't like to say these things. I really don't like to say these things, especially when it comes to my country and people who are, I'm chagrined to say it, but representative of, the country that I love. But There's no other way to describe this person. I can't even call her a person. She's a creature. I mean, she is such a absolute personification of evil. There's no other way to describe her. Last thing I just want to say, and then I want to turn off to you. Imagine if this is how poorly she does in an interview that they probably edited down. They had to edit it down to 16 minutes. 16 minutes from a presidential nominee. I guarantee you they spoke for hours. I guarantee you her top consultants and advisors and even Obama, everybody, they're all like, just talk as much as you can. We'll edit it. We'll fix it. We'll put it all together. We'll try to make you look good. This is her looking good. This is their idea of trying to make her look good. They had to pare it down, edit it down, cut it down to less than 20 minutes. Less than the time it takes me to take my daughter to school, which is literally right down the street. It takes me 15 minutes. That's how long somebody who wants to run for the highest office in the land released an interview that was supposed to show and exemplify her leadership capacity. Imagine what made the cutting floor. If this is what made the final cut, imagine what hit the cutting floor. There's no way you can make her look good. There's no way. I don't care how good your packaging is. A box full of turd is still a box full of turd. There's no way you can make her look good. It's impossible. I don't care what kind of cinematic Steven Spielberg CGI effects. It's impossible to make her look good. Now, their only hope is that she talks less and less. As Quentin Tarantino said on the Bill Maher show, I don't want her doing any interviews. I don't want her doing any press conferences. After seeing what we saw now, you better guarantee Obama, Clinton, Soros, they don't want her doing any more interviews and press conferences at all. She's probably going to do a lot less because every time she talks, literally her poll numbers go down. Every time she talks, the amount of lies that come out of that mouth, it's like a fire hose of lies, and the American people are fed up. They're sick and tired of it. Their wallets hurt. Their bodies hurt, their brains hurt, their bills hurt, their sense of safety, security, their sense of taking care of their kids and family. Everything hurts. And this individual, this creature, is making everything worse. My fellow Americans, it's clear there's only one choice in November. You know what to do. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. I open and welcome all viewpoints. I throw this off to you, and I ask you a question, a genuine question. Where does she go from here? Let me know in the comments. What's next? Are they going to replace her? Are they going to bring Biden back? I honestly think it's not a terrible idea to bring Biden back. At this point, if this is what she does in a softball, puppy dogs, and ice cream interview with a reporter that's actually an ally on her side who is a notorious Trump hater, imagine what's going to happen if she actually does get a real interview, a real live Q&A where they drill her with hard questions, tough questions. She's going to fold like a tent. She's going to fold. It's over. So let me know in the comments, where do they go from here? Where do the hypocrites go from here? What do you think the powers that be, the elitists, the Obama, Clinton, Soros consortium, what are they going to do next? They've got to be throwing things at walls right now. They've got to be kicking themselves in the head for putting Biden aside for this. What about Newsom? What if Newsom comes here and rescues the entire thing? I mean, he's awful, but what if they tap Newsom? It wouldn't surprise me. You think they care about you? You think they care about me? You think they care about the actual voting process, actual primaries, actually electing officials, which is democratic? They don't care about that. They're going to put whoever they think can win, period. So I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you made it this far, sign up for our free newsletter. That's in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. Follow, subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.